The level 4 passes have opened up and the fighting has been on in Zone 5. In this video, I'm going to be showing you clips from some of the most exciting fighting moments from the beginning, some city rallies, and even a city zeroing at the end. And then I'm going to summarize where we're at so far in this KVK and what we can look forward to going ahead, so stick around. What's up everybody, Psycho here with another Rise of Kingdoms video. The level 4 passes opened up, we spilled into Zone 5, we had a plan, we executed our plan, and ultimately we won the day. In this video, I'm going to be showing you three important moments when we were building our fort, and I'll be doing a little voiceover on that when we were trying to take down the enemy fort. I'm going to be showing you one of our allies taking a city rally and how we handled that, and I'm going to be showing you a city of our enemy camp that we ultimately zeroed, so you're not going to want to miss that. So right now I'm going to jump into those parts and I'm going to do a little voiceover on those, and then I'll catch you at the very end. All right, I'm going to start by showing you where we're at from a tech standpoint. You can see we have all of the level 2 attacks completed. You can also see that we have the level 1 attacks completed. We did that quite a while ago. Again, we have all of the level 3 attacks at 8, 8, and 8. Again, except for Siege. Not a lot in March speed, but I do have level 9 out of 10 on attack formation, which I think gives 8.5% extra attack. So that's where we are at from a tech standpoint going into the fight. All right, now a little bit about the marches we are using. I'm doing some adjustments to the marches here, but you can see the marches I ultimately decided to go with were YSG and Mehmed, Alex with Sun Tzu, Guan with Leonidas, Saladin with William, and XY with Nevsky. I finally decided here I didn't want to go for the Richard March at all. I also broke up the Guan Alex. I just went for the what I call the all AoE sort of pew pew. I want to do as much damage, as much area of effect damage as I can, forgetting about support marches, forgetting about tankiness, just trying to do maximum area of effect damage, and those are the marches that I went with here. You can also see I'm slapping on some support skills for the different marches, and I won't show you all that here, but the big picture is these are the marches that I used this kit all throughout this fighting, and this is what led to the kill total that I got. Before the fighting started, I also threw a couple of skills onto XY, and you can see they both landed on the 4 skill, getting him to 5513, which is awesome. And here we are, finishing off that level 4 pass and breaking into the Zone 5. We ended up being, I think, the first alliance, at least the first alliance on our side. I'm not actually sure if alliances got in on the other side faster, but we were pretty fast into our Zone 5, and you'll see why that makes a big difference. We've got our fort up, and we have a position for everyone to gather, so everyone's headed there. Notice that our opponents, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened, they actually took their pass, but somehow they weren't able to go through, and again, I'm not exactly sure what happened here. It's still very unclear to me if they weren't in the coalition or what, but something happened where that pass was held neutral for quite a while, and this was a pretty big setback for Kingdom 2239 because they couldn't get out onto the field very quickly. They could not get their Alliance Fortress down, and you'll see that that ultimately kind of made a difference as we got into this zone here. And just now you'll see finally after a while they did eventually get access to that pass. Again, I'm not exactly sure what happened. Like I said, if they were switching around coalitions or something, but eventually they did get through and they did get to put an Alliance Fortress down, but much later. And there is that Alliance Fortress. But by this time, we are already have marches coming down the field towards them. You can see they put that fortress right up against that Minamoto Bastion, which is about where we thought they would put it. And we are on our way there now. So this is the fire side, the left side of the map. You can see all of the Alliance fortresses, both sides, both fire and water, put right up against each other. As we'll see at the end, ultimately, water won the day there with those fire Alliance fortresses. Yeah. So here we go. This is sort of the first blood here. We've got our marches out on the field. They are trying to get into the fort. As I mentioned, because we got down the field faster, we are actually trying to prevent their marches from getting into the fort. It looks like most of them are coming from the south, and so we have some people here fighting on the bottom side, trying to keep those marches from getting in the fort, trying to keep that fort from building, because it's much easier to take down a fort before it builds than a fort after it builds. And so here we go. We are launching into an attack. I've got my XY, Nevsky, my Saladin, William on this Alex march, and a few other marches join in. And you can see those skills going off. And this march is just not going to last very long. Just right about now. So a couple of skill cycles and see you later. And here's a couple of other marches that, again, just sort of marched off blindly, weren't paying attention, lost connection, I don't know. But now here they go running away. And I noticed that that's actually an XY nearby. So I tried to jump over to get to this XY, but there's a little bit of a lag, as you can see. But the Nevsky skill still hit the XY. And it's at this point that I'm realizing, well, a couple of my marches are pretty far behind, and also they're actually coming over from that left side. There's a whole bunch of marches coming from that left side, so I kind of have to get out of there, because again, most of our marches are focused on the south side, keeping marches from getting into the Alliance Fortress. But the overwhelming majority of the enemy troops, as you'll see here, maybe are actually over here on the left side. And yeah, my Alex didn't fare so well. Kind of like, hey guys, turn around, look here, I'm getting beat up, and yeah, they're all facing the other direction. But anyway, we did get out of there. So there you can see that most of their troops are actually over there on the left, not on the bottom side. And eventually, that this will turn into one of the first brawls of the match. But again, the point here was defending against the fort. Now, unfortunately, here the screen gets a little grainy. I'm not exactly sure what happened when I was doing the recording, but for some reason the resolution was a lot poorer on this set. And this is a critical moment. This is where we have finally connected our flag. We've built all the way down. We're connected to their Alliance Fortress. There's about 25 minutes before their Alliance Fortress builds, and so it's a really critical time that we get a rally in and take this fortress down. They are grouping up on the left side. We're grouping up as well. They're trying to, of course, clear the field so that they can get into that Alliance Fortress, so that they can protect against the rally that's coming, and they can get that Alliance Fortress to build. So you can see they're starting to build up over here on the left side. We are building ours up. And there's something really weird that happens here. There is a rally going. You can kind of see that at the top. I was very confused at this moment. I even was saying in voice chat, what is this rally? Where is this rally going? And it was a city rally, and it made no sense at all. So I don't know what's going on there. So now you can see that the rally, our XY rally, I believe it's an XY Nevsky rally, is in. They've got a Zenobia and a YSS garrison, I believe. But you can see they have no field control whatsoever. We have total control of the field, which gives us a very big advantage against this garrison, which just, it can't be reinforced, and we can obviously reinforce our rally forever. So the rally doesn't start off winning on the white damage. Again, it's a very good garrison they have there, but strong, and you can see that we start actually swarming that fort, and to the point that eventually this fort has no reinforcements. It has no chance of surviving. And ultimately, we are able to destroy the fort on the first rally, take that fort down before it can even build. That is a huge, huge point of success here, because we've got a fort up, we've got a fort built. We actually have 2 forts up and 2 forts built, and then they didn't get any. Okay, now this area here, and now this is all about to be resolved as we launch into fighting. They get a king skill. We say, yeah, that's okay, we're going in. And you can just see we're launching all of our troops in here. Now, I zoomed out to this mode. I sometimes find that on this mode, I have a little better control of my marches. I can see what's going on in the battlefield a little better. Sometimes it's really hard to target a march when I'm really far away. And so I try to fight in this mode. Sometimes when it's very, very crowded, it's very laggy as well. So this mode just sort of makes things a little bit easier. The downside of this mode is you really can't tell what march you're targeting, right? So if you want to target, for example, a YSG or a Nebu or an XY, you can't actually pick out those targets. All you can see is a dot and try to attack that dot. And you where you're at in a skill cycle. So that's also a problem with this mode. You don't know, am I about to fire my skill? Did I already fire my skill? You just kind of fight, and hope it works out well. Typically, I just try to stay on a march until you see that victory sign pop up and it's gone, and then I jump on to another march. So it's not an ideal way to fight, but sometimes this is a way that you can prevent yourself from wandering way too far down the field. So you can see that I was targeting a march that was way back inside the middle of the blue there, but somehow it was actually because of lag. It was actually not even there, so my marches started going way down the field. This is a way that you can sort of catch that early before it's too late and your marches get in a lot of trouble. So I actually fight out of this mode a fair amount of the time. Not all the time, but it's a fairly reasonable way to keep yourself out of trouble. So we do quite a bit of fighting here. I do try to zoom in at times so you can see that it's just way too laggy in certain moments. And here we're just dunking on a march that's way out of position. So that's kind of brutal. And yeah, here we go, back up the field, trying to target some more of these marches. You can see this is a critical moment right here. I love this moment because this is like right out of every critical moment where they just break, where their marches are just running off and the route is on, right? So this is where the marches that are left behind are just getting absolutely smashed. Most of the marches are retreating from the field. It's a really critical moment in the battle, sort of winning this spot in the field. And here, eventually, I get a little overzealous and go a little too deep in enemy territory, but that's okay. I think at this point, I actually just start to zoom in because there's a little bit of clearance and I can see a little bit better. So I said, okay, I'm going to zoom in where I can actually target the marches that I want to target. But this is one of the more critical fights, one of the more critical field scenarios we have today. Just look at all the marches, tons and tons of marches out there on the field. And this is really what you play Rise of Kingdoms for, are these kind of fights. Here we go. Here I am zooming in now so I can actually target something. And part of the deal with the lag, I really wish they would change the animations. The king skills are nice, but like this animation, it just makes the game, I feel like it makes the game super laggy when this animation is on. And so, yeah, so having problems. You can see trying to drag certain marches or trying to click certain places, and then it actually drags my screen across. Okay, so I just say, whatever, this guy's close, I'm going to target him. So this guy's going down. Now you can see that here I go wandering off towards enemy territory, but at this point I just say, I don't care. I want to kill as many of these marches as I possibly can. I'm trying to switch targets using the targeting feature there. I don't actually remember which march I'm on at this point. If it's the Guan, it might be the Guan march. I think a Khan march comes in here at some point, and I start to target that one as well. I'm just going to end up running my marches into the ground here. Not necessarily an ideal set for trades, but look at all the skill damage going off. And again, that was the real goal with this set of marches, was just to fire off as much damage as possible. It's also not ideal to be fighting on enemy territory. They get little attack bonuses by being on their territory. But like I said, here we go. We're just piling in. And you can see we've got a lot of marches actually nearby. Not really clear what they're doing. Kind of just standing there. Maybe they're trying to fill that flag or just to protect that flag. I don't know. I thought they would have come in there. But you can start to see my marches are going down. There we pop Skilled Craftsman, which doesn't help my march as much. And finally, my last march, Alex Sun Tzu, is down. Okay, now here is a moment that happened a little bit earlier where they came and rallied a city sort of for no real reason. This is God of Death City getting rallied. You can see we have total control of this area, and it is a Ramses YSG rally, I believe. And God of Death just said, well, I'm just going to take this rally because I don't really see what they're going to do very well here. And you can see my marches are coming down from the top, and the idea, at least that for me at the time, I was thinking, okay, if he needs help, I'll just swarm this rally. I mean, it's a Ramses YSG. It's a very swarmable rally. We can totally swarm this as needed. In retrospect, I realized that was kind of silly. What I should have done was reinforce his city. And it was like sort of after the rally was done, we all went, oh, why didn't we just reinforce that? It would have been really easy kills on our part to just reinforce the city. And that would have been the really smart thing to do in this case, but we didn't end up doing that. As you can see, the rally is not really going very well for the rallier. I mean, he's not going to even get the city down to 0 health. The rallies definitely. And so, yeah, and you can also see a blue march walk through there. And I thought for a second, oh no, he's going to get hit with this YSG AoE, but he's actually in a different alliance. And that's really critical. Just because he's in the same coalition and the same color doesn't mean he's in the same alliance. So he actually is not affected by that AoE there at all. So that was good news for him, because I don't think he was paying attention. I don't think he knew he was walking through that area, but if he was in our alliance at the time, he would have gotten severely wounded troops. And what in the heck just happened there? How did they? Here comes the end of the rally. I don't even think anybody swarms it. I think it just dies. And it's kind of interesting that the enemy just decided to run this thing into the ground. Yeah, there goes somebody going to try to swarm it here at the end. But like I said, it's just pretty much all deads for the enemy here. And you'll see as I pull up the battle report here in a second for that rally. Okay, so here is the battle report. You can see about even by power, but a lot more deads for the attacker. Obviously, very few deads. A full hospital, but that's very healable. It'll take a lot of healing, but ultimately 664,000 deads. That is a lot of deads to inflict on the enemy. So very good trade for us. Here's a situation towards the end of this fighting where we are actually rallying a city. The city ended up falling off territory as we burned some flags underneath it. It was very near their starting zone, so I can see why you might think it was safe, but we did push down there, and ultimately this city gets zeroed. We have an Attila Takeda on it now. There will be some swarming at the end. It was probably a little too early to swarm, but look, you can see it's at 50, almost 56 million power. I think it started around 60 something million power, and so this is the second rally I think on it, and pretty much after this, it's just a raid fest. This city actually did have a ton of resources, and you can see I've got some marches there ready to come and collect the resources as soon as the city gets to 0. All right, so I hope you enjoyed those 3 sort of more exciting parts of the Zone 5 fighting. Look, there's still a lot of fighting to do, and Heroic Anthem KVK Zone 5 really doesn't mean a whole lot. I can show you a little bit about what Zone 5 looks like right now here, but at the end of the day, Zone 5 doesn't mean a ton because there's still lots of fighting in Zone 6, and everyone sort of has access to Kingsland, assuming you can hold off in your Zone 6. This is what our Zone 5 looks like right now. You can see our alliance fortresses across this line right here in the middle. That's where we built our fortresses. That's where they've stayed, and we pushed our flags all the way down here, sort of locking our opponents into this zone. That gives us access to the Ethelfled Bastion, which is probably in the Minamoto Bastion, which are really the real ones there. Almost forgot to give a Crusader Achievements update. In terms of total number of kills, we're sitting at 7.2 million. Still got a lot more to go if we want to get to that 30 million total, which is really the goal for most of these KVKs. And in terms of dead troops, I've got a little under 200,000 in the Hall of Heroes so far. Mostly all T5, almost all of them dead from swarming flags in those critical moments when we needed to take a flag down, when that garrison got low, swarming with 5 marches. So that's where most of my deads came from so far. There's really no fighting in these 2 zones because wind and water are our allies, so there's no fighting there. And because we're allied with Fire Camp up top, there's been no fighting up top. Unfortunately, our allies in Fire Camp were not able to win this Zone 5 over here, but there's still plenty of time to go for that. The next thing up is these level 6 passes open up, and we go into these Zone 6s. There won't be a lot of fighting in Zone 6s right away. There'll be some fighting at the Dark Altars, and then those level 7 passes open up, and Zone 6 is open for a big circular fight. Who knows, that could decide the KVK right there, or there could be a long, prolonged fight until we get into Kingsland. Either way, I'll be recording more from that fighting and be sharing it with you here on this channel. Thanks so much for coming by, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed some of the fighting action we've had so far in this KVK. If you did, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one.